wonder how someone with a highly demanding job in the spotlight handles all that pressure? Ask Jake Hunter. Jake is an Emmy-winning producer, actor, writer, and content creator. While he works hard for his accomplishments, there's one goal that comes above any career milestone: to be happy. For the past several years, Jake has been on a mental health journey, cultivating tools to be present and enjoy his everyday life, which he's now sharing with others as he hosts the club Influencers on Mental Health on the Clubhouse app. Jake joined 10-Minute Talks to share how he balances work with mental health and his advice for others. This is our conversation. What made you want to start the Influencers on Mental Health group on Clubhouse?
Well, I just wanted to be able to share some of these tools that I learned on my journey, which I think is so cool um, because I was able to have a few quote unquote breaks, whatever that does mean. I was able to kind of learn that the external things aren't just going to validate you. Once you hit a goal or something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be happy. And I thought it was like, I would do those things and I'm like, why am I not? Well, I'm supposed to be happy right now. What is going on? Like, maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe I'm just not enjoying it enough. Maybe I got to go. I don't know. Like, I didn't know what it was. I was trying to figure it out, but I learned that I had to come I had to come internally, not externally, that happiness, and that I could be happy with absolutely nothing. I think that was the thing that I learned. And so I wanted to start the room to basically share what I learned and see what other people thought as well, because I'm still learning every day as well, and see what other people, what their opinions were too. So, and we weren't taught these things when we were younger. Nobody was like telling me like in school to read the Four Agreements. I was reading like Of Mice and Men. Like, I wasn't reading anything to teach me anything about. I mean, I guess it is, but it's just like we were taught all these things, but we weren't really taught how to take care of ourselves, I feel like. And so I would love to be able to give some other people tools that have helped me, and that's it. And if if it doesn't work for them, then it doesn't work for them. But I would love to give people at least the opportunity to have some of these tools and see what tools they use if they're working on things as well, and see if I can pick up some as well.
Yeah, you talked about how none of this is stuff we're taught in school. I'm curious, when did mental health first pop up on your radar and became something important to you?
I was 23 or 24. That was the first time I met someone on set who told me to, I think it was 20, I was 24, and she told me to read The Power of Now. And that was the first time I had any sort of awareness at all. Before, I was just completely unconscious, just going around. Like, I don't even know, but that was the first time I did. And it was still like super slow process. I would read like 2 pages a day. Like, I'm not like a big reader either. Like, I wasn't before. So I would go super slow with it. But, and then I would say I really started to kick it into gear and really make it a priority of mine when I was like 26, I would say, and stuff like that. So meditating like every day, like I actually worked it into my routine.
Yeah. What kind of changes did you notice once you started incorporating those kind of practices?
Well, I was way more balanced. Like before, it was like if like it was end all be all and every day, and if something didn't go my way in terms of my career, my day was ruined. You know what I mean? Like if I got a call from my agent who dropped me, or I don't know, someone canceled a big meeting and I was really looking forward to it, pissed. I was so pissed and my day was ruined. But now I'm able to kind of catch those thoughts and feelings and not just completely identify with them. I would just completely identify with whatever I thought and felt before, and would walk around angry all day if something didn't go my way. And now I can just kind of identify that with ego and just be like, oh, my ego's pissed today, or whatever it is, and just kind of catch it more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like discussions, especially in the past year with quarantine, about busyness have really been on the rise, and people have been more conscientious of that. Like when someone asks you, "How are you?" and you say, "I'm busy," that's not actually a response to "How are you?" I'm curious what your thoughts are on that and kind of productivity and hustle culture.
I mean, for me, there's no right and wrong with anything. Like it all is what it is, and whatever anyone wants to do, they can do. It's just for me what works for me, and for me what works for me, like I said, is finding balance between those two things, because I was 100% work before, and I got a lot of the things done that I wanted to do, but it didn't lead to me being happy. And I think overall, for me at least, being happy is something that is kind of what we're striving for. But when we're kids, we're taught that it's like, if you go to school, and then you go to a good school, and then you meet someone maybe there, and then you get a good job, and then you get married, and then you have kids, and you get a nice house. And once you do all of that, then you can be happy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but now what I'm learning is you can be happy right now. You don't need anything at all to be happy. It's up to you whenever you want to be happy, pretty much. So that's my biggest thing that I would say, and that's why I'm working on it so hard.
Yeah, that's great. I think kind of on the topic with balance too, some place where that's discussed a lot is with social media, because there's kind of this interesting dichotomy where we're all having discussions about how harmful social media is to our mental health, but then it can also be a great resource because we're having those conversations on Clubhouse now, which is a social media platform. I'm curious, as someone with a big following, in what ways you found social media helpful versus not so helpful, and how you find that balance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to connect with people I never would have connected with ever. I just got to do like an IGTV with Lori from Shark Tank, which is cool. Like, just randomly through TikTok. That's just like cool stuff that I would have never gotten to do before. But it's like all learning, because you're out to so many people. And you heard me say in the Carol thing yesterday that like the first time I went viral, I didn't know what to do. Basically, like, I was just sitting up in my room. I couldn't sleep. I was just sweating and just reading all the comments. And I'm just like, oh God, like everybody hates me. Like that's what I was thinking. And so I mean, but it was just a learning. It's all learning. I mean, it all is whatever you want it to be. That's how I see it. And so for me, I've been extremely lucky with social media. I'm grateful for what I've gotten. And I just, it was the same thing as what I talked about with other things. I said I was going to make a video every day, and I did it. And then I figured out my own formula for going viral, and I did it. And so um, yeah, but it was, again, it was the same thing. I hit the goal that I wanted to do, and it didn't change me. Like, it didn't make me happy or anything like that either. So it's great because you can make money by just making videos and stuff like that, and be your own boss just by making videos, which is cool. But at the same time, I think it can definitely, like, I definitely have worried a lot about my views, and then I got to catch myself, like, you know, the same thing. Like, my ego's really stressing about my views today, or uh, just I'm not growing as fast as I was before. Just things like that I just have to constantly, it's constant work that I'm doing. Um, yeah, in order to balance that. So I think it's really tough for kids and stuff like that who blow up really quickly and don't have any of these tools that I'm talking about right now.
Mhm.
I don't know how I would deal with it if I was kids like that, to be honest with you. So that's why I think it's important for people to try to find some sort of balance.
Yeah. How has being able to connect with all of these new people and hear their stories and their experiences with mental health impacted you?
Well, I think it's cool just because I've been able to build a community of like-minded people, which I think is great. I had not that many people. Like, my brother got me onto Ram Dass. Like, I didn't have that many people in my life that were focused at all on mental health. The only people I had in my life were people that were trying to be big in entertainment. That was it. So it's really cool to now have people that are focused on similar goals as I am right now. We're all aligned. I think you used the word aligned earlier, with what our mindsets are at this stage in life, which I think is really cool. And I'm learning a lot from these people, because a lot of these people have been studying it for a long time and have really, really great perspectives on it. And so I've been able to learn a lot from doing it as well, which is cool. And I really like to learn, and I have to catch myself too, because I always want to be the best at everything that I do. So it's like, oh, I'm going to be I'm going to be the happiest. You know what I mean? From like wanting to be the biggest in entertainment to wanting to be the happiest. And I'm like, that's all ego stuff. And I don't know what the
Mhm.
hell the next thing's going to be like, but yeah. So, um, but yeah, it's been cool.
Has there been anything that's really surprised you about the response to influencers on mental health?
Um, it's interesting just because there's been a lot of people that have been really grateful to me. which is cool. And it's different in the sense of like my videos, which are like more comedic, crazy in the Curb Your Enthusiasm style. So like people, I've just connected with people on a deeper level than I have in any of my other platforms for sure. So it's just surprised me. I haven't connected with people on a deeper level like that, to where it's like it's my page or my room or whatever like that, and I've kind of connected with people in that way. So I think that's cool. Like on my other platforms, I'll post and I'll swipe out, and I am not paying any attention to it. Now it's like you have to really really connect with people because you're talking with them. You know what I mean? And then they'll DM me or whatever it is. Like I've built like real connections with certain people, which is actually really cool. That people I haven't met. So I think it's really interesting. It's cool. So yeah.
Yeah. The community element is so huge, especially when you're going through something with your mental health. Just the fact of knowing you're not the only one who experiences it, let alone having someone be there for you, is so important. But not everyone has that. Do you have any advice for someone who's struggling with their mental health right now and maybe feels like they're alone in that?
Well, I started my mental health journey on my own. Like a lot of people, like there's tons of resources out there. Like I'm pretty sure like everyone in LA talks like a therapist, like that I talk to. Like everyone's like in LA is like saying that, but I personally have worked on it completely on my own, and I have like kind of an interesting perspective on it. Like I just started working on it, and I didn't like learning from teachers either. So for me, like I like to learn on my own. But even like I've been going on hikes by myself and like going to the beach by myself, and I'll take my Ram Dass lecture and it's like I'm going on a hike with Ram Dass. You know what I mean? Like that's how I think about it. And so I'll be listening to these lectures as I'm doing it. And like, I don't know, like I feel like just taking some of these resources and trying to just see how they work, and seeing what works best for them, because there's certain people I know that need to have other people there when they are working on stuff, or there's whatever it may be. Like everyone's different, but I just think it's the same thing as I would say career wise. You just got to start. It's the same thing like we were talking about projects. You just got to start, and then you can go from there and maneuver your way.
That was my conversation with Jake. You can find him on Instagram and TikTok at Jake Hunter Official, and check out the Influencers on Mental Health Club on the Clubhouse app. Until next time, remember you're loved, you matter, and you got this.